Good Thursday afternoon. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille show. It's great to be with you. We certainly feel summer in the air. I woke up this morning and man, it was a spicy meatball outside. It's a great day to be alive. Any day we are above the mud and living on this planet is a reason to be happy, guys. A great program lined up for you. Richmond, Virginia, no longer the capital of the Confederacy, according to its mayor and Mayor Stoney. Governor Ralph Northam is going to remove the R.E. Lee statues on Monument Avenue. The R.E. Lee statue ASAP on Monument Avenue. We'll get to that headline, Judah. Simon Property Group, the largest mall property owner in the country, is going toe-to-toe in a battle royale with Gap over $60+ million of owed rent. There is a huge problem that is bubbling on the horizon with the landlords and the big brands. And once that problem really gets to the forefront, the next one is the landlords and the locally owned shops and the big-time shopping centers like Barracks and Stonefield and Fashion Square Mall. We'll talk about that today on the I Love CVille show. We're going to talk and highlight our interview yesterday with Daniel Kaufman, the fabulous owner of Public Fish and Oyster, a man who has been kicked and kicked and kicked like every restaurant owner across the country. And yesterday, we saw a glimmer of hope and positivity as a man who's been beaten and punished and pummeled, like every restaurant owner in the country has, is climbing back up. It's round 12. Apollo Creed looks tired, and Rocky's getting his second win. And I saw that from Daniel Kaufman. And I'm going to give you a highlight clip from yesterday. We also had Kelly Jackson. She and her family own 16 Panera Bread locations across the Commonwealth. If you are looking for the largest restaurateur family in Charlottesville, it's the Jacksons, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, when you have 16 Panera Breads under your belt, you got over 600 people counting on you to make the right decision. I asked Kelly, are you bullish? Are you bearish? Are you long or are you short? Charlottesville, Virginia. Her answer may surprise you. We are an advertising agency here on the I Love CVille show. We love to work with small business owners across the eastern seaboard, from a satellite office in New Providence, New Jersey, where we proudly represent the Autism Foundation of New Jersey, New Providence Chiropractic, to our clients in Asheville, North Carolina. But ladies and gentlemen, our heart and souls in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. And two of our favorites, two of the best, Interstate Pest and Service Companies and Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Interstate started in this community with one man, one truck, and payphones around Charlottesville in 1969. Today, almost 100 employees and 4 generations of family running it. Interstate Pest and Service Companies. And how about Scott Wagner? Physical therapy, chiropractic care, sports medicine. Dr. Wagner, changing people's lives, guys. I have seen it firsthand. I'm so excited for today's show. We are about to run headlines. Concerned local dad and good friend of the program, Matthew Gillikin, in 19 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to welcome a beautiful businesswoman with tremendous vision, tremendous chutzpah and hustle, Angelic Jenkins of Angelic's Kitchen and Catering in the 1 o'clock hour to spotlight her move to Dairy Market. Someone tag Chris Henry. Someone get the PBM guys in the stream right now. Like it and share it. Are you ready to rock and roll, Judah? We're live on 12 Facebook pages. I'm seeing North Carolina, Northern Virginia, Richmond, Charlottesville, Crozet, Albemarle, Nashville, Tennessee, and Philadelphia watching the show right now. First headline. Hits right close to home in Charlottesville. And let's go straight to it. The governor of Virginia, today, before this very show, less than an hour ago, he gave an order to take down the R.E. Lee statue from Monument Avenue as soon as possible in Richmond, Virginia. Us here in Charlottesville say, hey, we have a stake in this too. What about us? Remember August 12th in 2017, Governor? We have a stake in this too. And we no longer, in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, want to be the capital of the Confederacy either. Now, that was my initial take And then I gained some perspective as I started taking a deep breath, as I started to compose myself. And then I started thinking this way, from a Charlottesville standpoint. I applaud the governor, especially with the last week of protests and riots across the country and how they've impacted Richmond undoubtedly. Violence. I applaud the governor to realize that we're in a position very different today than when when Mayor Stoney's Blue Ribbon Commission gave an analysis and a take on what to do with the statues. The Blue Ribbon Commissions that gave their takes and their analysis of what to do with the statues, at that time, the perspective was applicable. However, in the last 30 days, heck, in 2020, am I not right? In 2020, the world is so different. COVID-19, followed by gruesome murder in Georgia, followed by a gruesome murder in Minneapolis at the hands of the police. 2020 is very different. So the Blue Ribbon Commission, while you appreciate their take on what to do with the Confederate monuments, you realize when they offered that perspective, it was a very different time. Governor Ralph Northam got a checkered history when it comes to race relations. We're all very familiar with the blackface in the yearbook, and I'm not going to go down that road, but we know he has a checkered history with race relations. I think what he's really trying to do in the back end of his tenure is to really try to create a legacy for himself and to really try to improve that brand and that narrative that's going to follow his name forever in history, because that's what happens when you're the governor of the Commonwealth, the governor of any state. So he says this morning, the R.E. Lee statue on Monument Avenue, let's take it down ASAP. I applaud him for that. I applaud him for that. I hope as a Charlottesvillian, as a human, as a Virginian, that it goes very peacefully. I really hope as a Charlottesvillian that it goes peacefully. Because guys, whether you want to accept it or not, and that topic of the statue staying up or going is a topic for another day. And the reason it's a topic for another day is because the statues are coming down this summer in Charlottesville. We know that's happening. So let's watch as Charlottesvillians and let's watch as Central Virginians what happens in Richmond, Virginia, with the governor now saying this statue's got to come down ASAP on Monument Avenue. We have an acronym in my business and in advertising, and the acronym is called POP. P-O-P, a proof of performance. As Charlottesvillians and as Central Virginians, we have a POP that we can watch in Richmond, a proof of performance. Let's see how it goes, because it's certainly, if I'm taking an analogy from the real estate world, it's certainly a comp or a comparable. How do you sell a house on a street? You check the value of the home next door and what it sold for, and it's a comp. The removal of the R.E. Lee statue on Monument Avenue in Richmond, Virginia, a long time coming. Charlottesville has a POP on its hands, a proof of performance, to see how Richmond, Mayor Stoney, the governor's office, the media, Antifa, protesters, pro-Confederacy, anti-Confederacy, white folks, brown folks, black folks, how they respond. I'm going to be watching. Let's get to the next story, my friend, Judah Wickhauer. And guys, give me a like and a share on any of these 12 Facebook pages, just like Andre Xavier did, the Chief Executive Officer of CVille Hop on Tours, just like Brian Harris did from the Arc of the Piedmont. Like it and share it. Concerned local dad Matthew Gillikin in T-minus 14 minutes. Angelic Hawkins is going to join us, ladies and gentlemen, at about 1:10 on this program. Kelly Jackson, hello. You're about to see a sizzle reel about yourself, Kelly Jackson, on this program. All right. I have respect for Mayor Stoney in Richmond. I think he's building a very strong platform for himself and a strong brand. I think he commands the respect of people, and I respected his quote when he said, "Richmond is no longer the capital of the Confederacy." Okay? I'm going to say it one more time, and let's all let it set in. Mayor Stoney, Richmond is no longer the capital of the Confederacy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words that are so impactful, right? Makes me smile. Next story, my friend Judah Wickhauer, comes from the real estate world. It's how I make my living in part. We do a lot of we're an advertising agency. We're a real estate investment company. Very active trading on the stock market. Real estate's a big chunk of what I do. This morning I woke up with a Facebook message from a friend of this program. His name is James Watson. And James Watson said to me, Simon Property Group and Gap, via Facebook message, James said, are going toe-to-toe. And Simon Property is suing Gap over skip rent payments to the tune of almost $66 million. Get the headline up on screen, Judah. The court battles the mounting tension between retail landlords and tenants. And it's going to start first. You heard it here first, and I'm going to segue this into Charlottesville, Virginia, with the I Love CVille empty storefront index. Unfortunately, another empty storefront. I have that story for you shortly in downtown Charlottesville, a locally owned business shutting down yesterday. A friend of mine. I'll have that story for you. First, the macro before the micro. Simon is the largest mall owner in the country. Simon, like other large landowners in the country, real estate owners in the country, are going to go after their flagship tenants, their anchor tenants, their end cap tenants, their big box brand tenants first if they're back on rent. The reason the Simons and the Federal Realties of the world are going to go after their anchor tenants first if they're back on rent is because those people are the ones that own the most. For example, Gap owes Simon Property Group $66 million. $66 million, Jesus. Simon malls have 412 Gaps, including the one in Charlottesville, which is hasta luego, so long, peace out, sayonara, turn off the lights. So freaking $66 million Gap owns Simon. This is what you can expect. Major landlords will start with their major tenants, and those are the big box brands first. If you're behind on rent, you're going to get sued. Once that lawyers have focused on the money that's owed the most, the largest money that's owed, the big box brands, they will shift their attention to their Class B tenants and their Class C tenants, and so on. As you as you trickle down the ladder, you start getting to region from Gaps, national brands, right? You start getting to regional brands. A good regional brand might be a Burger Batch. Burger Batch is a good regional brand. I'm not saying they're in trouble or anything at all, but they're a phenomenal regional brand. Multiple locations in multiple states. Once the big-time landlord goes from the Gaps and the big brands to the regional ones, then they go to us. Then they go to local. Then they go to the people we see across the picket fence in the neighborhood, or we run into at Fridays after 5, or we're having cocktails with at happy hour, or we're seeing on the downtown mall or in Midtown, or we're seeing at a sporting event. Then they go to us. This is the tip of the iceberg. As someone who's a libertarian, a small business owner, as someone whose entire family is dependent on what we do 70 hours a week in this building, my heart breaks, especially for the local that's in hard times, that's about to get hit hard. And that leads us to the micro story. First to report this, and we'll go to the Charlottesville Empty Storefront Index after that, the candy shop on 4th Street, and you can put the photo up on screen, my friend Judah Wickhauer. The candy shop on 4th Street, a second location for a gentleman from Roanoke, Virginia, that has had success in Roanoke with his business and said, I'm going to try one in Charlottesville in the downtown mall. It's now closed. I was with him yesterday as he was emptying up his store. I was with him yesterday as he was saying, I have this stuff that I'm looking to sell instead of move will you help me find a buyer? We figured that out for him. But I was next to the gentleman, and I just saw a face that was hurt and demoralized and sad. The American dream is opening a business. And the American dream is opening the business and watching it thrive. The American dream is never opening the business, getting hammered by a pandemic of historical proportions, and then shutting down your business and selling your shelves and your glasses and your coolers and your signage for pennies on the dollar. Makes me sad. Let's go through the empty storefront index. And the only reason I'm showing the empty storefront index, and it pains me to do this, flip through them on screen, Judah. 5 seconds each picture. Everyone, you're watching on Facebook on 12 Facebook pages. Look at your screen right now. Look at your screen right now. Look at your screen right now. Stop what you're doing and look at your screen right now. Flip through them. 5 seconds apiece. The storefronts that I'm showing you here, the ones that have closed in the last 30 days because of COVID-19 and this pandemic, these are the businesses owned by the folks that you see at the grocery store or at the UVA football game or at your favorite restaurant or walking around town or at your favorite vineyard or brewery. And the reason I'm putting these on screen is more about incentivizing and encouraging our city leadership, lighting a fire, if you may, under our city leadership to step up and do something for the city to stimulate business locally. Virginia Beach city councilors figure out a way to find $2 million in a strapped budget for an advertising campaign where they put a lasso about a 120-mile radius around Virginia Beach, and they use that $2 million to throw a marketing blanket around that 120-mile radius of Virginia Beach to attract people to the community to support the local merchants. They have the same issues with revenue and running Virginia Beach as Charlottesville and Albemarle County do, but they found $2 million to support the community. Stanton, let's take Stanton, even closer to Charlottesville than Virginia Beach. How about Stanton? Hey, Stanton City Council, Stanton leadership. Let's open up the downtown area in Stanton to a beer garden concept where people can eat and drink in the streets because we know the guidelines are limiting dining, and this is going to attract people downtown. Same situation's happening in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Did you know that? Same situation in Harrisonburg. I respect our leadership for the most part. Because being a public servant and making $18K if you're a city councilor and $20K if you're the mayor, literally that's what they make, you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it because you love the city just like I do. But we don't have any entrepreneurs that I'm seeing on the dais that is helping lead the charge here. I was so impressed with Mayor Walker. I was so impressed with Mayor Walker, and I'm going to say it again. I was so impressed with Mayor Walker with her statement prior to Saturday's protest on Market Street, where Mayor Walker essentially said, "This is wrong. We will protest. Black Lives Matter. But Charlottesville, breathe for me. Breathe." She showed leadership there. She went out at a very volatile time where the community was on eggshells, and she showed leadership. And I honestly believe it helped the day go peacefully on Saturday because of Mayor Walker's statement. And I give her so much hard time on this show. She deserves accolades for what she did. I mean that. On the flip side of the coin, I want to see the same leadership to stimulate growth locally. I see the leadership for a peaceful and impactful protest in Charlottesville. A peaceful and impactful protest that had to happen. A peaceful and impactful protest that will make change, galvanize, and draw the community together. But I want to see the same leadership when it comes to stimulating the local economy. Because stimulating the local economy and creating jobs and making sure people have some change in their pocket is, whether you agree or whether you like it or not, having a little money in your pocket goes a long way to determining how you see and feel about yourself. You know that's true. And we got to get people back to work and earning some money and having a little money in their pocket so they can feel good about themselves. You have a crisis here. You have restaurants and retail shops and small businesses opening back up because of the governor saying phase 2, 50% dining capacity inside. Retail can open up. Gyms can open up. ACAC is opening up on Monday. Limited capacity, but still opening on Monday. Where I'm going with all this is the crisis is you have 43 million people unemployed. 43 million. And a lot of the folks that are unemployed, the 43 million, are from the restaurant and retail sector, tourism and hospitality, that got hit the hardest. And a lot of folks are choosing to stay on unemployment as opposed to go back to work. So as these businesses are opening up, they're not sure they're going to have people to staff the joints. But here's the problem. Phase 2 started, so the landlords that own the buildings where the businesses are housed have said your rent has started because you can host people in your business. So your overhead's going. But they don't have the people to keep the business going and in operation and earning money because they're staying on unemployment. It's a serious issue. Before we get to Concerned Local Dad, I'd like to hear from Daniel Kaufman. Let's play his sizzle reel, and then we'll play Kelly Jackson's after Concerned Local Dad, Matthew Gillikin. I'll count you down, Judah. Daniel Kaufman is the owner of Public Fish and Oyster. He is also the co-owner of Pronto, a pasta joint on the UVA corner. I almost started crying on yesterday's show because of Daniel Kaufman. Judah, 3, 2, 1. I want to emphasize this, and I'm so happy, almost to a point where I'm a little choked up here. And he said that Public's going to make it. Public will survive. His brand is amazing. His brand is part of the community. His brand has one of the best happy hours here. This guy has busted his ass on this restaurant.
It's not me. It's not just me either. I've had a great staff who has supported me all this time. And I don't want to take anything away from the other restaurants in this town. If anything, and this is something I feel really good about, if anything, any sense of rivalry, for the most part, or competition has been completely out the window. We've been really getting each other's backs on this one. We've had a text string going with a lot of restaurant owners, sharing a lot of ideas, a lot of information. A lot really come together during this. I didn't know many people involved in the scene. And while it doesn't include everyone, obviously, it has, my experience through this has been that that we've all got each other's backs, whether or not we're in competition with each other, or whether or not we've had any beef in the past. It's been really nice to see everybody come together and offer suggestions and discuss our own concerns, be able to, misery loves company, and we've been in misery. And it's been really comforting to know that everybody else is, feeling the same thing. It sucks, but at least it sucks together, if that makes any sense.
I respected Daniel Kaufman's vulnerability and his honesty and him giving us a glimpse of his emotions. And I truly respected the community coming together when he said there was a text change of restaurant owners on it and they were sharing information to make everybody better. Now, one guy we have on the line here, Judah Wickhauer, and Matthew Gillikin, is a huge fan of Daniel Kaufman in Public. In fact, he and his dynamic and beautiful wife, Shannon, often have date nights at Public. And I'm going to say this before we welcome him on air. I truly mean this. I think Matthew and Shannon Gillikin behind the scenes means are having an incredible impact on Charlottesville, Virginia. Matthew through zoning and through real estate and what he's doing on social media, and Shannon in education. Judah, we have him on the line. Matthew, you are live. I know you, and I'm excited to know you and feel great about knowing you. How about you introduce yourself to everybody? And there's his adorable daughter, JoJo. She is so adorable. Who is Matthew Gillikin?
This is Joanna. She's supposed to be in her room right now for rest time. Not surprising that she snuck out. And can you say hi to everyone?
Hi, sweetie.
Okay, can you go back upstairs?
She's perfect.
Yeah, she's something else. I'm at home this week. I'm on furlough from UVA Hospital, which is where I work. I'm a speech therapist there. So I got 1 week to myself here, and my 3 kids, 8, 5, and 3. And my wife's a teacher in the Charlottesville schools.
It's great to have you. I want to give you, the platform is yours. We can go anywhere you want. Why don't you start us, and then I'll go to you.
I've lived in Charlottesville 12 years. I moved here in 2008. My best friend, Richard Firo, moved up here in 2007 to work at Abundant Life Ministries, and kind of just would come up here and hang out with him, and kind of was trying to figure out what to do with myself, and ended up getting a job at Virginia Institute of Autism here in town, and then ended up going to graduate school at UVA for speech language pathology or speech therapy, and worked at a nursing home for a year, and then been working at UVA Hospital for about 5 years, which is a place I really like to be. And in the midst of that, met my wife Shannon. We've been married for 10 years in a couple weeks. And we've got, like I said, 3 kids. And I think that what I'm really interested in a lot of ways, besides my family and besides thinking about my work and things like that, is this town. And like, what is Charlottesville is a question I just find myself asking all the time. And I think that I'm like a lot of people that transplanted here, that came here based on an impression of Charlottesville as one of the best places to live, beautiful scenery, the downtown mall, things like that. And I mean, Charlottesville, UVA, all that, they're good at branding. I'll give them that. But then, you know, the longer I lived here, and the more I got to know more people here and see, kind of peek under the hood of Charlottesville a little bit, I think there's a different story. It's a much more complicated story.
Tell us what you mean by that. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, Charlottesville has a really difficult race history, and it continues to have significant challenges. And I think that when you think about some of the spaces I just described, the downtown mall, UVA, I mean, those are in many ways white spaces. Those are spaces where a lot of white people feel very comfortable and feel alive and energized. And other groups don't feel that way. They feel excluded and marginalized. And I think that's kind of, in some ways, the tip of the iceberg when you look at what housing is in Charlottesville. The consultants that the city has doing the rezoning and the comp plan put out some numbers that 1,500 people, low-income people, have left the city of Charlottesville since 2010. So you think of a city of about 50,000 people, to lose 1,500 of our lower-income neighbors. I would suspect, they didn't provide specific demographic information, but I suspect a disproportionate burden fell on the African-American and Latino community with that. You know, and I think that's a recurring theme in Charlottesville history and Charlottesville housing history, is the squeeze on the Black community, giving them less and less space, taking from them. And it's happened in a multitude of ways. And And I think that I've kind of left at a place, and I think sometimes it's often very disheartening when you look at a lot of the statistics surrounding those things. And I think that for me, as the bubble burst a little bit, I mean, my wife's working in the schools. She was a preschool teacher for 8 years, just finished her second year as a kindergarten teacher. She works with a lot of just awesome families that are from across a bunch of different backgrounds. And the struggles are more real for people than a lot of folks, including myself, really recognized. And I think that Mayor Walker ran on the slogan of unmasking the illusion. And I thought that wasn't a fun slogan in a lot of ways. But I think she's spot on. And I have a lot of respect for her. I disagree with her about parking and housing stuff sometime, but she's a really effective leader. And I think that a lot of people trust her. And I think they know that, as uncomfortable as the messages that she sends out sometimes, and that other members of the Black community in Charlottesville sometimes send to us as white people, we need to listen to those messages. We need to digest them, and we need to really think about. It might make us in some ways because we have an idealized conception of what Charlottesville is like, but I think I view those things as a chance to be humbled and to learn and to grow, and then after that to take action and to try and make Charlottesville a better place for everyone.
I think, let me throw this to you. I think you are taking action, and this man is using social media for the good. And I would very, very much encourage you guys to follow Matthew Gillikin on Twitter. And if you're not on Twitter, he puts a lot of his content also on Facebook. And it's very good content. Let's talk about Saturday and the protest. And I want to walk through your mindset from the flip book in the morning when we heard Mayor Walker's statement. You and I were texting. And then from Mayor Walker's statement to the protest downtown in Charlottesville. I'm going to get out of your way. Give us some insight.
Yeah, so I didn't go to the protest. I was watching our kids. My wife did. And she, I think that a couple things are significant, and I think you sketched over some of these, but I'll just kind of flesh it out a little bit. This protest was led by 3 Black women. I know Ann Kong and Diana Bryant were 2 of them. I'm not exactly sure who the third one was. They weren't just showing, or hopefully not just showing up to demonstrate and show something. They're actually, the leaders had demands. They were trying to accomplish something, and I mean, those were communicated to the people protesting. I think there were about 1,000 people there, plus a car parade as well. And you know, they weren't just trying to communicate a message; they were trying to propel action. And I think I'm just going to read off a few. They want home release from a lot of people that are incarcerated right now due to the risk from COVID. People that are on work release should be set free. There's apparently a fee if you're on home monitoring, one of the many kind of nickel and dime things that our criminal justice system does to people. Any pretrial detention. Demand the police end targeted harassment and surveillance of Black, brown, and undocumented folks in our community. Demand an immediate demilitarization and defunding of the Charlottesville City Police. And the last one was we demand Charlottesville City Schools and its contract with the police department. And we could maybe come back to some of those, but I just kind of want to highlight that, like the protesters in Richmond, also, they didn't just want a statue to come down. They want changes to how policing is done there. They want the city to be safer for all residents, to be a place for all residents. And I think that it's important for some of us who maybe are feeling really kind of convicted and inspired right now to identify that this isn't just like a one-time moment where we show up. We need to really kind of shape ourselves and develop ourselves so that we can, for instance, advocate for some of these demands to be done.
Well, let me jump in on this. Okay, I'm going to learn from you. I learn from you often. Let's talk about the topic of a white person's role in this. So many people I encounter, me, myself, I talked about this on the show. If we're white men, the most privileged of all is the white man.
Yep.
As a white
Right.
man, you have a strong job. We do what we love. We have great kids. We own our own home. We're not struggling, right? We have affluence.
We're privileged.
We're privileged. Throw the topic to you. What is a white person's role with this?
Well, I think I'm going to send you to a website that I don't know that you go to too often. Teen Vogue.
Teen Vogue. Wow. Okay.
Teen Vogue. Yeah. Diana Bryant, Charlottesville high school grad, UVA, just finished her first year there. She wrote a really nice piece last week, highlighting kind of that question. And I think that it's a super helpful, practical, powerful message she sent. So I'll just run through some of the things she said. And I think that the first thing she said is educate yourself. Take time to listen and learn. And I think that I would a lot of this ground has already been covered. A lot, like if you want to learn, if you want to grow, a lot of people are doing the work right now and have done the work. Do some Googling. Do some, send me a DM. I'm not an expert or anything, but this is kind of, I try to carry this out. There's really great resources out there right now. Don't go to Black and brown and Latino people, and just start asking them questions about what it's like. Do your own research. Talk to a lot of those folks. A number of those folks have taken the time to write this stuff down. Like, it's all out there. Don't put them in the spot of being just a thing you learn from. They're real humans, and I think that's dehumanizing to do that. So,
Zy Bryant, to give you background and then go back to you. Zy Bryant is a University of Virginia student. She was there in Lee Park years ago, offering a very inspiring speech of what the statues meant to her, and she's really, really coming to her own as a leader in the community, as an activist. She's going toe-to-toe with Jim Ryan in some cases on social media. So she is really making an impact here. Matthew, jump back in here.
Yeah, so then the next step is invest time and resources in on-the-ground community abolitionist efforts. Now, there's going to be some different views probably of people listening to the show on what abolitionist efforts might look like today, but I would encourage people to, again, take the time and learn and see what that means, listen to what some of these activists are saying, and see how this can shape how you think, but also how you can get involved in undoing some of the wrongs. And again, on the ground, there's people already doing a lot of this work. And I think she's kind of suggesting, like, hey, if you see a story from maybe you transplanted to Charlottesville and the town you're from, you see some stuff going on where money needs to be given to get people bailed out from jail that were arrested while protesting. Send a little bit of money back home. The next thing is getting involved locally. And this is kind of my thing that I'm really, really passionate about. I think that if you come into Charlottesville as an outsider, maybe you're a professor at UVA, maybe you are a student at UVA, and you're going all over the country to conferences, you're talking, but you don't even know your neighbors' names. You don't even spend time, it's a pretty common phenomenon, obviously, amongst academic types to dedicate, or business types to dedicate massive amounts of research to, their subject area or their business plan or things like that. But then when it comes to like some of the essential things in your life, like where am I going to live and what school are my kids going to go to, they base those major decisions on like what they heard at 2 cocktail parties in a quick Google search. And suddenly they're making these major life investments. So it's just interesting. I think that people need to not just sort of on a national level be looking to educate themselves and learn, but locally, what are the stories that are being told? And I think that, and this is bursting some bubbles, I know, but like anything that's, from what I can tell, anything that's going on anywhere else nationally, whether it's about the police, whether it's about housing, whether it's about the economy, the same stuff's going on in Charlottesville.
That's so true.
And I think that, I don't really have a lot of patience with people that want to talk about what's going on in California. Where my sister lives there, so I'm kind of cool with it. But,
Your mom's watching.
Going on
Your mom's watching. Be nice to your sister.
Yeah, no, my sister's
Okay.
cool. She was she's a nurse out there. She was spent about 2 months doing testing for COVID in the parking lot of the Rose Bowl. So pretty awesome. But it's cool to talk about those things. They're interesting. It's good to engage. National politics obviously matters. State politics matters. But if you want to really have an impact, get involved around here. There's good stuff going on, and I think that I personally, and I think a lot of us just end up respecting someone when they can speak meaningfully about some of the local issues. You don't have to know about all of them, but I think it's helpful to kind of jump into some
I
of them.
agree. I agree. Let's do this here. We have Angelique coming up in 5 minutes, and I have so much stuff I want to ask you.
Okay.
Jay Bardo says, Matthew is a great human being. James Watson says, thank you for dedicating yourself to exposing inequalities in our community. Tim Ryan says, I follow this guy on Twitter, and he offers great insight into Charlottesville. Chris is offering this comment in Belmont. I follow Matthew on Twitter. Tell him thank you for the content that he is creating. I have another comment coming in from Laura. I follow this guy online. His content is inspiring. Please tell your guests this. I can continue. We are live on 12 Facebook pages. We'll pick up the tempo here. Let's go PTI fashion, maybe 30 seconds a take so we can get a lot of stuff in there. All right, we
can go real fast.
Real fast. Okay, let me throw this to you here. Parking. East Market Street parking garage. He and I disagree on this topic. I'm not going to give you my take. I want to hear his take. Parking garage on Market Street. Give me about 40 seconds.
Well, the basic question is, why would you spend $50,000 a parking space for 300 parking spaces when there's actually enough parking downtown?
Okay, that was pretty good. All right, I'm going to counter you for the sake of a talk show, homie. The lawyers, the judges, all the people tied with the two courthouses, everyone says it's best to keep it downtown for social justice issues and for equality issues, because oftentimes someone will walk into the Albemarle County Court, be scheduled for Charlottesville Court, and the fact that they're in one spot is good for them. Also, the public transportation piece of having everything on a public... I'm going to counter with that, and then I want to hear your take.
Right. I mean, and so I think in some ways, the county basically economic development plan seems to consist of nothing. They decided, what if we just move the courts out onto 29 or south of town, and that can become like a hub. And despite everyone in the legal community saying this would be disastrous for the people that are most vulnerable to our system. And the city, I mean, I think, very rightfully so, the city, kind of had to pony up in some ways to help prevent that from happening. But I think that I could spend 10 years talking. There's enough parking. The problem is not the lack of parking.
You're saying it's the management.
100,000 parking spaces in the Charlottesville.
Yeah.
It's not managed correctly.
Yeah. How about this one? You're getting this question coming in via Instagram. Matthew Gillikin is getting DMs via Instagram. Jerry, ask this dude about the $300,000 he's talking about taking off the school budget with school resource officers. See what he has to say about that. It's good. I think it's good as well. Give us your take on that.
Yeah, so the city schools spends $300,000 on having and I would love to see the city schools not have police officers in the school and spend that money on mental health counselors, training for staff. And I mean, one idea I had, this is just, it might not actually be a good idea, but basically having kind of behavioral emergency response teams. There's a version of that in the hospital that I see, and it's different because it's in the hospital, but having specialized staff that can deal with students when they're having difficult times, mental health issues and things like that. That's money better spent. It creates a safer environment. Obviously, we'll have police in town. I'd love to have the police be following the direction of people who are experts in mental health.
Oh, I love it. You're getting props right here. All right. Johnny from Guadalajara is loving what he's hearing from you. Lindsay Steele says she's loving what she's hearing right now. Guys, give it a like and a share and blow up Matthew Gillikin's feed right here. Follow him on social. Angelique is coming up. I got to get to Angelique. Before I do,
All right.
I want to get, and you have carte blanche here. And Judah, let's cut this hot take that he's about to deliver into a sizzle reel for tomorrow's show. Okay? So, Matthew Gillikin, you have a final word on the I Love CVille show. You can go anywhere you want. You're making everybody on this program smarter. The show is yours, sir.
You know, I mean, like I was saying, I think that what's important, especially in this moment where we're in a lot of turmoil, is to not turn, especially for those of us who are white, don't turn inwards and create defenses for yourself. Look outwards, listen, see, learn, grow, learn where you can take action, because your voice is powerful and your voice matters. And I think that we actually have officials right now in the city in particular who will listen to you and will try to put some of that into action. And I think that can happen at the city level, it can happen at the county level, it can happen at the state level. We have Sally Hudson. So that is like, we can't just be feeling good about ourselves because we did the black square and things like that. We've got to take action. We need to be following the lead of others and learning about our community and seeing how we can make it better. Racism in Charlottesville is not an accident. It can be intentional. It's ideas, it's structures, it's systems. Let's find those things and let's get rid of them.
Dude, you were so good. You're good at this. You and I could do a show just back and forth about this and like literally carry like 2 hours here. You're so good.
All right, man. I'm furloughed again in July, so maybe we can do that.
You're furloughed again in July? All right, I'm going to reach out in July.
Yeah, I got 2 weeks total.
Okay, all right. I'm going to reach out in July. Tell your family I said hello.
Same. Tell yours.
I will. Hey, thank you.
Say hey to Lauren and Trey.
We will.
All right. Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Matthew Gillikin. Matthew Gillikin is big-time people. Huge respect for him on this program. Give it a like and give it a share right now. Give Matthew some props. Blow up his phone. The dude did such a great job. He behind the scenes is making the needle move, and his dynamic and beautiful wife is making the needle move as well. Education, policy, zoning, real estate, going toe-to-toe with developers. I mean, I could have spent an hour with him. Let's go to Angelique, Judah. It's ringing. Angelique, we're going to you right now. I'm so excited to welcome her. This will be her second rodeo on the show. Judah, it's ringing. We have Angelique on the line. She's vivacious. She's charismatic. She is an entrepreneur. She's a businesswoman. She's built an incredible brand. She is now live on the I Love CVille show. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm actually here on the food truck.
You're on the truck. Oh, fantastic. You're at Pantops?
No, we're actually over in West Haven. We had 50 dinners to send out to Martha Jefferson this morning to the first responders. And then here at West Haven, we're giving out through the City of Promise 150 dinners. So we're here and we're going to get started after the show and start pumping out those 150 dinners to the community.
I love it. I love it. I love it. She's making such an impact. She's got an amazing brand. Go and support her on Pantops ASAP. And when she opens in Dairy Market, support her there. All right, I'm going to get out of your way here. How's everything going with the business? I mean, first let me ask you the tough question here. Here's the tough question. When COVID-19 hit, and I've asked every single person on this show this question. When COVID-19 hit, Angelique, I was scared. I was depressed. I was down. I had no idea what the future held. For 3 or 4 days, I was in a dark place. But then I said, you know what? We're entrepreneurs. We're made to pivot. We're made to figure things out. I got out of that place. We started figuring it out, and we're moving in the right direction. Can I first ask you the vulnerability and the fear, and then we go to the success and getting out of it? Give us some perspective, please.
Okay, so of course, you know, I worked for DoubleTree. I've been there for going on 20 years as HR director. I was furloughed March the 18th. And so, of course, that was the fear. That was the panic because I was, I have my food truck and basically parked on Pantops, but I was about to go into my festival season. The Africana Folk Festival in Virginia Beach, a 3-day festival, the Jazz Festival, the African Festival here in Charlottesville. I had other Old Farm Day. And so after I was furloughed, I told my husband, okay, let's just open up shop on Pantops. But I was kind of scared because of the pandemic. So let's see what happened. Then decided to go ahead and open up since they allow curbside. And I ended up signing up with DoorDash, was already with Grubhub. Ended up creating an online ordering website for pickup at the window. And we have been doing really well. Yeah, so business has been picking up. I'm here today. It's just been wonderful. People are coming out, they're supporting, which is really important. But, I was scared because on top of all this, I still lost a lot of business. I had some weddings that canceled out, all my festivals canceled out. So they're gone. And that was the main source of my income with the festivals, with the food truck, pulling up at these festivals and, Virginia Beach, Richmond, and the surrounding counties. So I lost that. But luckily, we're getting support and people are coming and showing up on
I love it. You're going to love this. This comment just came in, and we've had 6 of them come in about your fried fish. This from Bob Shada. Jerry, she makes the best fried fish in the entire city. No BS. That's from Bob Shada. Get to her food truck on Pantops and order some fried fish. All right, so on top of COVID-19, on top of all these cancellations, on top of the uncertainty, you are also opening in Dairy Market to make things even more complicated. Give us a perspective on that, Angelique.
Yes.
Throw that to you here. What's it like?
Okay. Yes. It's busy. There's a lot going on. I actually went into the dairy building and I got a tour about 3 weeks ago. So I have a picture on my Facebook, me standing in front of my stall. They was about to pour the concrete. So we're very excited. Everything is coming along. Hopefully everything's going to open up in September. I don't want to say for sure, but that is the game plan. I'm very excited. I'm really busy. I'm very overwhelmed, but it's all good. And I have a great support system with my husband. He's here 100%, my family. Had to hire a couple of new workers to help out the food truck so we can get ready for the dairy so we can, be able to, have some of that staff, transfer over to the dairy as well. So everything's coming along pretty good. We're just excited and we're just ready to go. You know how I am. I'm that Energizer Easter Bunny, right? Not Easter Bunny, but Bunny Rabbit. And I keep it going. You do keep it going. So I can't stop.
You're gonna love this. Are you ready for this? You just literally landed a job. Kelly Jackson's watching the show, and she says, Jerry, please tell her to bring her truck to my next party. I'm serious here. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do, Kelly. After the show, I'll connect you and Angelique, and then you guys take it from there. But I think you just picked up a job right here. Let me throw this to you here. Charlottesville and on Saturday. We had an impactful, a peaceful protest in this city that you and I love so much. What did you think about this weekend and how everything transpired?
You know what? I was very proud of the city. I was very proud of Charlottesville. It was very peaceful, like you did mention. Because of the protest, I didn't even think we were going to get business on Pantops, but people kept coming in and supporting. And I had to actually call my husband and say, I need you to come to the food truck. We're super busy. We can't handle a crowd. So my husband packed up. He came down and helped us out. And, when I was done for the day, I looked at the social media and I was just very proud of Charlottesville and how they stood up for what we all believe in and did it very peacefully and very respectfully.
Well said. That's a sizzle reel for tomorrow. I admire what you just said. Let's play that on tomorrow's show. Sean Twin Jenkins, I'm watching from work. Ivana Key, I love your food, Angelique. It tastes so good. You got my support. Michelle Jenkins, hey fam. Mary Dent says, congratulations, my friend. Louise Mugg is watching. She says, I'm literally going to drive to Pantops now to eat this lady's food. Don't drive there now. You're not on Pantops now, right?
Right. We'll be there tomorrow from 11 to 7 and Saturday from 4 to 8. Today we're doing a special catering dinner.
Louise, go tomorrow. Don't go now. Go tomorrow and support Angelique on Pantops. All right, let me throw this to you here. How is your day? You sleeping? You have so much energy. You have so much going on here. I mean, give us an insight into organized chaos. You and I thrive on organized chaos. Give us some insight into that.
Yes. There's a lot going on. I have to make sure I am ordering enough food to keep up with the demand because I wasn't used to being on Pantops as frequently as I am now. So I am ordering more frequently. I'm in the midst of trying to write a cookbook also of my recipes. So I'm trying to jot down at least one recipe
That's
every single
smart.
day. Yeah, yeah. So I'm doing that in between. My husband always tell me, he said, "Do you ever get off the phone? What are you doing?" I said, "I'm working." I tell you, I'm up at 4:45 a.m. working, working because there's so much to do. There's never ending story. With the dairy on my mind, with the food truck, trying to hire more staff. I'm looking to hire another cook. So, so we're just really excited. It's busy, but it's going to be well worth it in the long run. It's always chaos. There's always a storm before things start to even out and get silent and things come to rest. So I'm up for the challenge. I'm
I
ready
feel the
for it.
same. I love this lady here. Isn't it interesting with your food truck with COVID? The trucks were positioned in a good spot because of the grab and go. Isn't it funny how God works like that?
And I was so happy because I was really concerned. Both my husband and I both had got furloughed like a couple of days apart, and thank God, we had the business to fall back on, and I have one wedding that's still out there for October, so I don't know if that's going to cancel or if it's going to continue, as planned. But yeah, it's great to have the opportunity to be in the food truck, to train and educate the staff, and have people. We had people actually when this pandemic, when we first opened up, this ordered and they stayed in the car, and we bought the food out to the car. And some people chose to come up to the window. That's fine. We used to wipe off everything what they touch. The screen for using the credit card and debit card. So we was taking all precaution, and it just very excited to how everything has turned out under the circumstances.
Laura Payne, Angelic Hawkins Jenkins. Yes, yes, yes. Congratulations.
I think that's my mom.
That's from Laura Payne. We have more people that are saying we're driving to Pantos. Go tomorrow. Go tomorrow. Go see Angelique tomorrow. Tomorrow, please. Kelly Dowd says, thank you. I Love CVille show. Great interview. All right, why don't we do this? And we're gonna play what you say here on tomorrow's show. It's a sizzle reel. I want you to offer, I Love CVille on this platform is a platform of hope and positivity and finding the good and moving forward. You know what we're all about, just like you. So I'm gonna say, give you a final word. Give us some inspiration for Charlottesville, for everybody watching. Angelique, it's a scary time out there. We're not sure if we can go outside. It's scary. Okay, the show is yours. Give us something, lady.
You know what? The same thing I just said earlier. Just everybody continue to support one another, love one another, stay strong, believe in what you believe in. Enough is enough. Everybody's tired, everybody's exhausted. Just do the right thing. Support the local small entrepreneurs here. If it's not for you guys, we're not going to survive. We're trying to get our name out there. I support local entrepreneurs as well. So just stay calm and just do the right thing, make the best decisions, and just be cautious, and just live your life, and just live your life being happy, and come get some fried fish from Angelique's Kitchen. It's Angelique's Kitchen where food becomes your happiness.
Yes. I love this lady so much. Judah, play that on tomorrow's show, please. You are awesome. Thank you so much, Angelique. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you so much.
It was fun. She's amazing. Flood her business tomorrow on Pantops. We're live on 12 Facebook pages. Go to Angelique's on Pantops tomorrow and try some of the best fried fish in the country. Angelique, you're amazing. Love that lady. We're going to close on a couple of ways. We have one more sizzle reel we need to get to from Kelly, right, from yesterday's show. I asked Kelly, she was our guest on yesterday's program, owns 16 Panera Breads. Are you bullish on Charlottesville, Virginia? Are you bearish on Charlottesville, Virginia? Are you long on CVille and Central Virginia, or are you short on CVille and Central Virginia? Judah, do you have that ready to go for us? We'll count you down here. I loved her take. And then I'll get us out of here with a final word. Play Kelly Jackson, 16 Panera Breads on her belt in 3, 2, and 1. Charlottesville, Virginia, Central Virginia. Are you bearish? Are you bullish? Are you long on Charlottesville? I mean, and give me the reasons why. Give me a hot take on this. What do you think about the next 12 to 18 months here? It's a scary time here. There's a lot of uncertainty here.
I do, but I think it's scary, and I get that. But I think this Charlottesville community is so in love with the community. I think I see neighbors helping neighbors, people supporting. We have donated, $7,000 in gift cards to UVA. We are donating them lunch and breakfast once a week because we love the community. I think this community is going to look more appealing to people, like you said, who are living in DC, paying those prices, living on top of each other. Living in New York, everyone loves Charlottesville. There is nothing not to love. We have it all. So I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling positive that the restaurants that had to close are going to be able to reopen or start a new concept. I'm confident that the downtown is going to figure out a way to make it work. And I think we have great people here, and we're not willing to let our community fail.
Dude. All right. I feel the same. Well done, Kelly. You crushed it. I love this town. I love the town. I love the people. We have our warts. We have our scars. We have our issues. We have some bad apples. And we have some people that you probably never want to be around. But you know what we have? We have a lot of great people too. And you saw it today. You saw it with Matthew Gillikin. You saw it with Angelic. You saw it with Daniel Kaufman. You saw it with Kelly Jackson. We have a lot of good people too. I'll give you an insight into tomorrow's program. Freddie Jackson from the Love No Ego Foundation is going to join us tomorrow. I love Freddie Jackson. You're going to find him inspiring. And we'll close on this note. When you guys get up each day, each morning, whatever time that is, whether it's your little boy who's 2 that's waking you up, crying through the baby monitor, and it's your morning to get up because you do whatever you can, and it's never enough, to help a stay-at-home mom do her job a little bit easier, and she's a hero. Whether you're getting up and you're having to immediately sprint to get your clothes on and get to work, or you have a little more time to enjoy your coffee and read the newspaper, watch a little TV, and then get your day going. I don't care whatever way you do it, just get up and be the best version of yourself, the best version you got. And when you're being the best version of yourself when you wake up in the morning, part of that best version has got to be making the home that you live in and the town that you love and the community that supports you and employs you the best version it can be as well. So remember that. It's not just about waking up and being the best version of yourself. It's about waking up and about being the best version of yourself in a way that betters the community in the short and long term. That's what it's really about. My name is Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille show.